It's a beautiful day here in Xi'an, China. It obviously seems is slowly coming back to life. The silver lining is appearing on the cloud created by the COVID-19, and hope is erupting amongst the people. But certain events, small things happening in the world, could bring about another storm.
So you think you know China?
Or at least what other people have told you about it.
And that's fine.
But let us tell you what China is.
To us. Or even better.
Let us show you.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jack here, coming to you from Xi'an, China. Welcome back to the China Crew channel. On this channel, we walk, talk, defend, and explore China. If you've missed our previous video, please follow the link above. Businesses are opening, there's a lot more traffic on the roads, and people of China have started living again. The vast majority of the people have trusted in their government and its world-class medical systems to combat the virus. And just by looking at the numbers and statistics, it looks like they're winning. And of course, the people want to come out of their homes and live again. Small businesses are a staple of the Chinese society. We don't buy our groceries at large supermarkets. We buy our groceries from small shops close to our apartments. Supporting local small businesses and supporting small farmers and producers in the area. These small businesses cannot survive as long as large corporations without income. So these business owners want to open their doors as soon as possible. Companies are opening their doors as well. People are slowly coming back to life. After a month of empty streets, rush hour traffic is becoming a thing again. There is even talk of opening schools again in the future. It makes sense that this would be the last to consider opening, as the safety and well-being of the children are the most important. So far, schools have been implementing online teaching, as the school semester should have been in full swing by now. But not all schools can do this, unfortunately. So many institutions are lagging behind, and that will have repercussions on the students successfully completing their school years. China takes education very, very seriously. The importance of educating the young aside, education is big business in China. Malls have started opening again. Parks and scenic spots have increased numbers of visitors again. And this is fantastic to see. The local government is encouraging it. The great and ancient city wall of Xi'an, for example, a very popular tourist destination in the heart of Xi'an, has been opened again, free of charge, for the entire month of March. But is all of this happening too quickly? The virus isn't beaten yet. There are still thousands of cases in Hubei province and other cities, though the situation seems to be isolated to those parts, and some other cities and regions have experienced little to no increases of cases over a number of days. It would seem the situation is somewhat under control. But would reducing the security and quarantine zones not open us up again to further spread of the virus? Would opening our airports and mass transport systems not encourage the spread of the virus again? Of course, it's a possibility. It seems then that China could become a victim of its own success. People are now coming to China. Some Chinese are returning to China out of fear that the foreign countries that they live in won't be able to take care of them. On March 5th, news of a Chinese student was confirmed carrying the COVID-19 virus after arriving in Shanghai on a flight from Tehran. And there have been multiple cases where Chinese and other foreigners have come to China still carrying the virus. And what has been China's response to this? Is China blocking them? Is China turning them away out of fear? No, China isn't. The Chinese are helping them. China is sharing treatment and resources with them. In cases where their stay in quarantine, many in hotels, being financially covered by the local Chinese government. It's for these very reasons that concerns are sparked. That would allowing these travelers back into China not risk bringing about more infections into China? Unsurprisingly, the Chinese government has taken all of this into consideration already. At a press conference of the Joint Prevention and Control Mechanism of the State Council, they had the following questions answered. Is an isolation for medical observation necessary for foreigners after they enter China? According to the needs of epidemic prevention and control, all localities shall follow relevant prevention and control measures for the personnel from countries and regions with serious outbreaks. These include temperature checking, home-based or centralized observation. As such, can effectively prevent the transitional spread of the epidemic. Will cross-border travel be limited as the epidemic spreads in many countries? The Joint Prevention and Control Mechanism of the State Council will pay close attention to the development of overseas epidemics, strengthen communication, coordination, and consultation with other relevant countries, and avoid some unnecessary cross-border travel activities according to the situation and changes. The Chinese government hopes to work with foreign countries to ensure the personal exchanges and cooperation in various fields between China and other countries are not greatly affected. How do people exiting or entering China submit their health reports? All people leaving or entering must complete the health declaration, which shall be checked by the customs port on whether they have symptoms, whether they have been to epidemic area or country within 14 days, and whether they have contact history. The declaration has been translated into more than 10 languages. Before arriving at the port, they can fill out the health declaration form via the phone and pass through customs with generated QR codes. How shall China prevent the epidemic from abroad in entry-exit management? By implementing strict medical inspection and screening and timely transfer and quarantine, which includes 100% inspection to people's health declaration forms, screening of their body temperatures, medical patrolling, epidemiological and medical investigations, and laboratory testing to people who have symptoms, come from countries or regions in a serious epidemic situation, or who have been exposed to confirmed or suspected case. Transfer people with symptoms and their close contacts timely for quarantine and observation. What are the prevention and control measures for international flights? Strengthen the ventilation and disinfection of aircraft and airports. Carefully carry out the temperature screening of inbound and outbound passengers. Strengthen the personal protection and health management of frontline personnel, including flight crew and security personnel, and timely release the prevention and control guidelines. Due to the current outbreak in some other countries and regions, CAAC has formulated differentiated epidemic prevention and control measures by regions and levels. The arrival of the student in Shanghai has prompted the National Immigration Administration to release their measures to prevent importing the virus. Carry out big data analysis before international flights arrive. Check relevant individuals from hard-hit countries and regions of the virus in advance, and then report to the Customs Department and Departments of Inspection and Quarantine. Implement strict inspection after flights entering the country. Those who have had a history of travel or residence in the overseas epidemic areas shall promptly report to the Quarantine Department for inspection. Measures issued by the Civil Aviation Administration of China. Number 1. Prevent the epidemic from spreading in aircraft and airport. Strengthen the ventilation and disinfection of the aircraft and airports. Carefully carry out the temperature screening of passengers and strengthen the personal protection and health management of frontline personnel, including flight crew and security personnel. Strategical prevention and control measures. Based on the epidemic situation of the host country or region and the flight, implement discrepant management accordingly. Regional prevention and control measures over China. Beijing. When entering Beijing, people from South Korea, Italy, Japan, Iran, or other hard-stricken countries shall be isolated for observation for 14 days, regardless of nationality. Shanghai. All Chinese and foreign personnel who have lived or traveled in hard-hit countries or regions within 14 days before entering Shanghai shall receive a 14-day home-based or centralized isolation. Guangdong. People who have come from or have been to areas in severe epidemic situation in departure countries shall be isolated at home or centralized for 14 days after entering the country. Yunnan Province. People who have come from or have been to hard-hit areas of the epidemic shall be strictly under management of Yunnan Health Code, be centralized isolated in Dazhou City for 14 days and receive nucleic acid tests of the COVID-19. Dandong, Liaoning. The nucleic acid tests of COVID-19 shall be carried out for all the people entering Dandong after February 12th. And the entry personnel after February 28th shall be isolated in the designated hotels for 14 days and be subject to the nucleic acid tests. Yanbian in Jilin. From March 3rd, the personnel from hard-hit epidemic areas at home and abroad shall be isolated for 14 days upon arrival. And people having a fever shall be immediately transferred to designated medical institutions. As we enter the phase of the lowering infected cases and renewed vitality in China, it's very important not to get lazy. not to get lazy and continue the following of the guidelines. Wear your mask. Wash your hands regularly. Practice reasonable caution when in public. And most importantly, subscribe to this channel. Thanks everyone for watching. If you like this video, please hit that like button and share it with your friends. This is Jack signing off from Xi'an. See you in the next one. 谢谢。